great. It was
Three, two.
great. Welcome to episode 95 of the Ricky Henderson podcast, the greatest of all podcasts in GOAP. I'm your co-host, Alex Espinoza, with my co-host, Dr. Hal Gordon.
Hot dog.
And we got Hot Dog Mania on the show. I'm
Swimming in sausages.
I'm the dog in the bun right now between two hot dog vendors. We got I know that sounds terrible, doesn't it? we got Hal's successor, Hal the hot dog man successor, Mike the hot dog mayor, Mike Davie, folks. How you doing? How you doing,
The
Mike?
mayor
I'm
of Hot
doing great.
Dogville.
Mike the hot
Let's
dog mayor.
let's hear that hot dog call.
Hey, hot dog here.
Very
It's
good.
red hot dogs.
There you go.
Well, how does it feel to pass the torch on? And also, we got to say, about 20 minutes ago, they just announced that Willie Mays died. R.I.P. to Willie Mays, one of the goats. And Mike was just saying, like, man, they're just about to go play in Birmingham or Mobile. They're going to play in Alabama somewhere.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, at the Negro Leagues game with the Giants pretty soon here. So, damn, that's too bad, man. But
Yeah.
R.I.P. to Willie, one of the goats.
Yeah. I mean, he's my dad said Willie Mays was the greatest baseball player that he ever saw. So yeah. It's
Yeah,
I mean, great that he got to play, that he got to live 93 years. So you can't be that sad about it.
it's a
But
long career. It's a pretty long
what a
career
great,
there.
I'm
Yeah.
sure we're going to be seeing a lot of highlights and stuff. There is, I think, an amazing YouTube video about one of my favorite baseball YouTube people is Foolish Baseball. And I think he a while ago, that catch that Willie Mays made in center field of the Polo Grounds. Willie Mays.
Was it
I'm looking
1954
at
or
it.
something like that? I think it was 1954
Yeah,
World
right.
Series. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a YouTube video from 4 years ago. It's just 12 minutes long, but it breaks down, that catch and asks the question, is it overrated? Like, was it actually a great catch? Because it's just that one of the, I think, the most iconic plays in baseball. And it's just I think it's just a fun watch if you're looking for a little bit of Willie Mays content. That would be my recommendation. But sad to hear him go, but
Yeah, I know he doesn't have the raw numbers, but for me, I think he might be the GOAT, dude. I mean, I think honestly, him and Barry Bonds for me probably like the two greatest individuals. Babe Ruth, of course, but yeah.
Ricky, let's
Yeah,
get this
Ricky,
real.
yeah, of course,
Yeah.
Ricky. I mean, it's the Ricky Henderson podcast, yeah.
Yeah. But I
can
mean that all
confident-
seriously. I mean, Ricky is also one of those, is in that conversation.
No, absolutely, yeah.
I can confidently say Ricky Henderson is the greatest baseball player to ever live, who threw left-handed and batted right-handed. Absolutely.
Well, so first, hey, so Hal, if you had to pass on the torch to somebody, you're glad that it's Mike the hot dog mayor or what? Look at this guy. Look how dapper he's looking in the thing.
Listen, for those who weren't at the first week of Bees games or who weren't at the second week of Bees games, I came back. I vended most of the games of the first week. I had a great time. It is a ton of fun there. But one of the main reasons I came back was to set up the hot dog stuff. So to get it all ready and to find someone else to do it. There was, I think all the way back in 2022, when I was hoping that that Dave Kaval wasn't a complete jerk and was going to, continue to let the ace thrive in Oakland and stuff. And I was thinking, oh man, if I keep doing this, I need a second person, because when we started doing How the Hot Dog Guy, it was with my partner Jim, who passed in 2019. But this was actually really Jim's. It was his baby. He was the one who did a lot of this. So in a lot of ways, whenever I was doing How the Hot Dog Guy, I was imitating Jim. Jim passed in December 2019, right before COVID. So back when, when we restarted after COVID, I was sort of unexpectedly by myself doing the hot dog stuff. And so, fortunately I didn't have to invent anything or do much because I had been taught so well by Jim. So I think in my mind, I needed to find another person to keep that legacy going. And yeah, I mean, I just thought who like, who loves Oakland enough to show up and do this every game. Even if there's not a tremendous amount of people at a Bees game, or when there is a tremendous amount of people at the Bees game, who is outgoing enough that they'll be able to sort of find a way into it. And there was really only one person that I could think of that was dumb enough to take me up on this offer. Yeah, I mean, Mike, how's it been? How have you been liking
it? It's been great. And I actually want to add in a little twist of Jim connection. I worked with Jim as well. I was a stagehand in a previous life, in my previous career right out of college. And when he was in vending, he took stagehand calls. And so I got to know Jim quite well before that. And I actually knew Jim a little more before Hal became Hal the hot dog guy, an internet celebrity. I knew Jim. I knew more Jim than I knew Hal because of the stagehand stuff. And I was like, I remember working with him on a call one time, and then I saw him. This is before he was vending, but I don't think he was doing the hot dog get up quite yet. But I was like,
no,
it's definitely more recent.
He was doing it. He was doing it at Giants, but never. The background. For those who don't know who the hell we're talking about, let me just give a real quick background of Jim Graff. So Jim's dad was sold newspapers at Oaks and Seals games. So he was vending when he was 6, at Berkeley at Cal games. So, behind the counter and stuff. So this guy, he was a vendor. He's a San Francisco and Oakland vendor his entire life. And he did the hot dogs at Giants with the steamer, just without all the condiments and everything else, or without a goofy outfit. And he would make he'd clean up there on tips. And I didn't understand it. I was like, why aren't you doing what all the other, vendors who have a long history and a long experience do at Giants, which is sell souvenirs? And he's like, well, I had a fight with the souvenir people, so now I do this and I make way more in tips anyway, and I get to watch the game. And I couldn't see the game when I was selling souvenirs, and if I go to the baseball game, I got to be able to see the game. So he was a real big character. But it was the reason why I'm Hal the hot dog guy was because he loved vending, and the A's in 2017 asked him to come to Oakland and do the hot dogs and do it better than he was doing it at Giants. He still vended at a lot of A's games. He just wasn't necessarily doing hot dogs. He was doing other stuff, and wasn't coming to necessarily every single A's game. But yeah, I mean, he had a lot of crazy stories, but it was his baby. He created it. And yeah. So that's who we're talking about. If you remember Jim Graff. Anyway, you knew him.
Yeah, I did. So I'd see him at the games long before, he'd be vending this and that. And I'm like, oh shit, you do here? Well, yeah, this is my main gig. I only do that stagehand stuff as a little off the side, when I'm not vending. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So I see him a lot. I work with him a lot more during the wintertime because obviously it's not baseball season. When you do A's and Giants, that's a full-time gig, and whatever. So good guy. Nothing but good stories to talk. Nothing but good times. So yeah.
So Mike, you're an Oakland native, right?
I am.
You're a lifelong A's fan, and also I see everybody calls you the mayor. Where does the mayor nickname come from? What's the story behind that?
That's a two-part answer. The first part is that I born and raised in Oakland. I went to high school out here. I'm very extroverted, very outgoing. Yeah. And I would just know people in different social circles. I have several baseball friends. I have hipsters and people from all different walks of life. And so I'd always see people out and about. I'd be with one group of friends. I'd run into another friend somewhere or another friend out in public. And she was like, oh, wow, you know everybody. You must be the mayor or something, right? And then one day, like at a show at the Stork Club, I come in and I was running a little late, and I got in like right when my friend's band's playing, and they're just about to go on stage, and the guy, Tom Gray, my friend Tom, this band called Sister Grizzly, he was like, and Mike Davie, the mayor of Oakland, is here finally. And then like people, then that thing kind of stuck with a whole bunch of different people.
Yeah.
And like it just kind of like spread. People just kept calling me that. And then the second answer is that there was a very flamboyant Mayor Davie in the city of Oakland, spelled the exact same way. And he was a very flamboyant character. He was mayor for quite some time. He actually was. I think he was the reason Oakland has term limits, because he was mayor for like 20 years, and then he wasn't, and then he became mayor like again in like the 20s. So he was mayor for quite some time. Mayor John L. Davie, no relation though. So that's the other part. And so I just, I actually resisted it for the longest time. Then I just kind of, then I just started, just run with it.
Yeah,
I have fun with it.
Stop it. Yeah, once you find the nickname, it sticks even harder, dude. So yeah.
Yeah.
well,
if you Google Mayor Davie Oakland, you'll get a local wiki page of Mayor John L. Davie.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Mike.
The second hit on Google will be Mike the Hot Dog Mayor.
That's awesome, dude.
I really do want you to get this guy's mustache, though, Mike. How's your mustache? Yeah, I mean you got a good mustache, but this guy, he is John Davie. Is that his name?
Yeah,
John Davie. He is bringing the heat, the mustache heat. That's a lot of wax.
I'm going to share the screen really quick. That's his mustache right there.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
That's Mayor John.
Pretty
L.
good.
Davie.
You need more.
I'm getting there. I have to figure out how to do the handlebar. I haven't really.
It's bushy. Yeah, it's bushy.
Looked into how to do that. I got the bushy 70s, kind of like a ginger Tom Selleck thing going on.
Mike, how long have you been going regularly to A's games?
I mean, since I was a kid, Dad used to drop me off there during the 94 strike, to hang out in the bleachers a lot. But I'd say to be more regular at the Coliseum, that started in high school when I started working at the A's as a ticket seller. So I started working for the A's right after high school senior year of high school in 2000. And it was a great gig. I mean, I'd sell cash tickets, hard tickets, and mostly bleachers. And dollar day tickets, and I'd work until the second to fourth inning, no matter how fast the game was going. Excuse me, and saw the rest of the games for free.
That's sick.
So most of all the Moneyball years, it was I saw all of that, and it's fun to see. I don't really like the Moneyball movie because of reasons, but one of the things I do like about it is a lot of the behind the scenes and stuff, and see like reading the credits and seeing like this person played like Debbie Gallows and stuff. It was like just in the background and front office employees and how it looked, and and knowing that that's actually not Billy Bean's office that they used as Billy Bean's office. That's Dave Renetti's office that they used as Billy Bean's office in the movie.
Office. Is that the one you can see from the concourse? It's like up above you.
Yeah, that's Dave Renetti's office. But obviously, like Billy Bean's actual office isn't as photogenic as Dave Renetti's office with all the memorabilia looking over the Coliseum. So yeah, it was an obvious choice to use Dave Renetti's office. Easy.
I kind of want to talk about the bees too, I mean, I went back and I watched the video from opening night, and I actually interviewed you there. You had this really cool quote. You said, I feel like I've been here my whole life. It's our team, it's our city, it's our neighborhood. This belongs to us.
I feel like I've been here my whole life. It's our team, it's our city, it's our neighborhood. Like, this belongs to us.
For people who haven't been, like, how would you describe what it's like at Ballers games and that community feel? Because it's a whole different vibe than the Coliseum, It
is, but
it isn't. It isn't. It isn't. It isn't.
It isn't. It isn't. It almost feels like the way I described it to George and Garth over the weekend is almost as if like the bleachers were just like turned around and put like behind.
Yeah.
But it's like it definitely feels like community based. It's like there's a lot of kids that have been coming out, especially because it's living Little League week and Father's Day and stuff, and they're just having fun, like getting balls from players, chasing down fly balls. It's only a matter of time that there's going to be like a not whole gang that's going to pop up around, because there's places you could peek and through, climb a light pole, or even there's like a jungle gym that's kind of out there and just be on right field that you can actually see the game from.
Yeah, I saw some people sitting on the roof out in left field too. I saw like 3 dudes sitting out on the roof over there.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's gonna be good.
It's
It really feels like,
come on, just at least give them the $20 to come into the stadium, guys. They need it.
Yeah.
No, but it really feels like an old timey ballpark. Like it's not, obviously it's made with like an erector set bleachers and stuff. It was worked together like in 4 months, which is incredible.
Dude, like 4 weeks, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, it just the community atmosphere just feels different. It feels refreshing. I mean, I went to opening night, and then the next day on Wednesday, I had some friends from Seattle in town who wanted to go to the Coliseum one more time. So I went with them, and they got me a ticket and everything else. And it just didn't feel the same. And Ballers games feels more like home. It feels like kind of something like I've always wanted in Oakland. Just a lot more connected to things. Like I started going to Bricks after games on Saturdays. I actually ended up like last Saturday I went in just because I was like hot and tired and wanted one quick beer before going. No, that was last Sunday. And then this Saturday I went to Bricks really quick again with because I had to bring in a bunch of condiments to the Ballers game and I couldn't fit them on my bike. So I took a lift in and I didn't want to take a lift home. And so I was like, oh, I'll get half an hour till the bus shows up. So like, why don't I go back to Bricks? And then I ran into some people I knew there, and I stuck around there for a while.
The mayor knows everybody.
Yeah, and so it was. I mean, it's really cool. It's very like a throwback vibe, but with like a lot more modern. Like they play a lot more hip hop and stuff than the Coliseum ever did, especially with the walk up songs. I feel that it's a lot more authentically Oakland, like a lot more Oakland identity, than rather than just like a generic East Bay. I mean, not that the East don't have that Oakland identity. Don't get me wrong, but it just feels like everybody just came in from like 3 blocks away. And I like, even though like people have come, I mean, I met a guy who travels around to different minor league ballparks and he just had a blast. And and I've gotten to know some of the players.
And the sightlines too. There's something about being able to see the downtown skyline and just kind of there's something, and being in the neighborhood. There's something really cool about it, dude. I can't describe it, but it feels like, oh, this is like super comfy. I don't know what it is.
It is. I mean,
especially maybe not even, maybe like late night, I can understand if you wouldn't want to do it. But after a couple games, I walked back to Bart from the stadium. I walked to and from it. And I'm not necessarily saying that's the best way to get there.
That's how I got to every game, dude.
But it's just,
walking.
It's just,
it was beautiful.
It's a nice, honestly, it's a beautiful neighborhood.
The houses are big. The houses are huge, dude.
Yeah. I don't think it's bad at all. But what was fun is that like it's a ballpark in a neighborhood, and that's what I grew up with as a Cubs fan when I was a little kid. It was a ballpark in a neighborhood. And there's just something really nice about that.
When I left opening night, there was a family just selling stuff out of their garage, and I just got some fried Oreos, and it was sick. It was like a nice little snack. I was like, all right. And like the girls were all like pretending to charge me money. Little girl, I don't know. It was hilarious. I was like, yeah, here, take my money. I don't know.
Oh yeah, somebody said I was biking to a game on it was opening night, and somebody's kids set up a lemonade stand. I'm like, I'm loving this stuff. Like,
it's great.
And it just feels. I don't know, but inside and outside, like I said, all the kids this week with Little League and Father's Day, they were just. I've never seen kids have so much fun in a baseball game in a long time. They were just like running around the stadium, like getting balls. I mean, it also like feels very community because it's like I've met, just because we almost like we share the same facilities. Like I got to meet coaches and players families and stuff. Like DeAndre Hubbard, I sold them a hot dog, and then they chatted me for a minute, and that was a really great conversation. One of the players, like, wife and his parents were out all week, and like, I stopped by that. Like, they called me over every single time, and I made it like. Then they quizzed me on Sunday. They're like, "All right, what's our orders again?" I'm like, But the wife
it's
was
gonna happen.
The wife was like
And then
super
you
chill
just,
about it.
just
She was
go
laughing.
like,
Because I would not know you remember that. She was like, she wants this, she wants that, and I want this.
Are you? Do they really? People really expect you to remember their orders?
No, she didn't at all. She was just having fun. She was just having fun.
But like,
that used to happen to me all the time. People be like, all right, you sold me a hot dog yesterday. I'll have the same as yesterday. And I'd be like, dude, people have come up to me. People have come up to me on BART like 6 months ago. Somebody came up to me on BART and was like, "You're Hal the hot dog guy, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you remember my order?" I'm like,
like, what? Like, no. I'm sure it helps to have some context. Like, oh, this is the person who sits in this section. I remember they got this. But if you see him on BART, you got zero context, right?
I mean, I guess it's like
I guess
at the Coliseum you probably get to know your regulars, but like I don't know. I haven't gotten to know the regulars. There's a lot of regulars who've been coming to like most, if not every games. I know there's this one couple, Brian and Lorene. They're on Twitter and they have like date night Thursdays at Ballers games, which is amazing. George and Garth and the 68 crew, Cass, Ross has been there a lot. There's been a couple. I don't know them as well. They know me, and like this couple of people. They've been sitting. They sit behind the home plate. They're there like they've been at least half the games in the first week.
Good.
And then so I was getting a lot. I mean, I'm such an extrovert. I'm getting to know a lot of people. Yeah. I'm getting all these Twitter followers. Now I'm starting to get, hey, I watch it. Hey, it's the mayor. I'm like, hey.
Well, I saw you guys. The three of you guys.
That is.
Well, both you guys got a photo with Sheng Tao, right? The actual.
I did.
I swear to God. I was so that was on Saturday. So this is the last day that I vended. So I had Mike follow me around, and I was like, oh well, Mayor Tao, she'll probably remember me, like, but and she looks at us and she goes, it's two of my favorite Oaklanders. She runs up to us and grabbed us and was like, hey, take a picture.
Yeah, and that's why those pictures were both like,
I know. Yeah, look like you guys were like
literally was it spontaneous. It was like
we were just
walking around and then she just like, whoop, and I'm like,
what?
Yeah.
You're like, okay. You're like, yeah. And she's like surrounded by like security guards and shit. You're like, oh, I'm not doing anything.
I was thinking when we started doing this, the hot dog stuff, and it'd start to like occasionally they'd put me on TV and the announcers would say stuff about me. I would, Fosse and Kuiper and stuff. I would, Jim would then see me, like my wife would like take a video of it or somebody would take a video of it and post it to social media on the way home from the game. Jim would see me looking at the video of myself and he would just be like, what are you doing? You're just doing this for the fame? Whatever. Ugh. And he would just be like, ugh, shame.
He did it for the love of the game.
It's the love of the game. It's about the customers. See that he would beat me. He usually would beat me in tips. And so he would say, Hal, you're doing this for the fame. But people who watch TV, they don't tip. You got to do it for your customers. And I was like, but
it's funny.
But I was thinking that, and I was thinking, yeah, but this is getting me to come back. This is getting me to invest more time and effort into it. Yeah. And I was thinking, another thing. I was like, who would want to continue to do a good job with this, knowing that they could get more Twitter followers? Mike.
Oh yeah. My sister's already annoyed. She loves me. She's already annoyed me because I was already famous through well known at the Coliseum when she was still in high school. And she would be like, oh, are you Mike Davie's sister? And she was like, I went through like a big year of junior year of high school known as Mike Davie's sister. And, and I'm like, hi. Yeah, I mean the fame was one, but I actually like as someone who's like I worked at Top Dog. I actually love like the customer service aspect. The gym. I'm definitely like a
you work there?
half Hal kind of person.
Were
so I love like sitting down.
You were man in the shop at Top Dog?
The guy's a Top Dog guy. I mean, how could I
not?
No
way,
Mike
dude.
Davie?
That's amazing, dude. There couldn't be a more qualified person for the job. I mean, Jesus, dude. Really, what is that job like? Because I was always like. they got like 20, they got 20 sausages at different cook, how the hell do
Oh,
you do
there's a
that?
whole system. There's a whole
Yeah.
system. I mean, it's been a while, but like there's a way you do it, and to just like the way you when you pull it, you set an order, and there's a whole reason like we can get kind of snappy sometimes. Because especially when I'm by myself, it's like dog first. It's like, all right, I want a hot dog and a soda. Suck your soda. What you want in a hot dog? All right, 2 boxes of brat, done. Next, keel and lemon, done. Next. All right, hot in the cow, done.
Dude, I wonder
Next.
if I
All
got a
right,
dog
a
from
Bach
you.
and a
That
top.
sounds
What do you want for trips and drinks? You want a Coke and a chip? Done. Fit 750. Dude, I was like,
Dude, I wonder if I got a dog from you before and I didn't even
oh,
know it.
you probably have.
Maybe.
It's fast.
Yeah.
Like, when it's slower, I think it's like whatever. I'll do it all the same time. When it's fast, and I'm
No,
like,
yeah.
hold that thought. Getting you next.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like especially when it's like South Side and it gets filled with like frat boy drunks.
Oh
You
yeah.
they kind of expect it. So it's almost like that Wiener Circle in Chicago where he's like, you're allowed to have a little flexibility, and like it's run by management that really does not care if you choose someone that's not like you. Shut up,
Mike, what's been the toughest part of the hot dog gig?
um, dealing with the cattywampusness of the cart
Yeah.
of the tray.
Yeah.
But I've noticed like so I was like looking at some of your old pictures and I noticed it versus mine is like almost like when I first get it, it was like way down here, and then I'm like, I saw yours, like your condiments are almost at eye level, and I'm like, oh, and I really whipped it up, and it's like, oh, it's say because it was rubbing against like right here, and then like just trying to like balance it when I put it on my knees, was cattywampus, and
Yep.
so that part is getting better. The other hardest
Oh,
part
yeah.
I see have to say is that with the reserve section where the seats are is really hard to set up. It's very narrow, and the seats are uneven, so it's like Hal taught me this trick where it's like, you laying down on your left knee and you balance the hot dog tray on your right knee and it works. But they're like the steps are like one's narrower and one's longer. So if you do that wrong on that step, you're like, woo! And I'm like, yeah. And then it's like the seat and there's this arm, the railing there, and the seat's like right there. So it's like you gotta really squeeze it in there. And so I've learned some tips and techniques. So that getting that thing around is the hardest part.
The worst aisle for me always was down in the Coliseum where the seats are the lower bowl. There's that gap where you can remove the seats for
Oh
football.
yeah, the Raiders gap. Yeah, that they were like
Yeah.
they're metal and it's like this.
Yeah. So you have these regular stairs, and then all of a sudden, just one stair randomly has this weird big gap in it, and it's a little bit longer and stranger. And every single time, because you can't see over the steamer where you're walking, you just expect each stair to be the same, and all of a sudden, there's this one weird freaking stair just out of nowhere. That would always get me. I would always be
Yeah.
tripping on that.
I got a question for both you guys. What's the biggest tip anybody's ever given you for a hot dog?
Well, a friend gave me 50 on my
That's
first
fucking
day.
good. That's pretty
Yeah.
good. That is pretty good.
I was like, you do this, you have the little square pad reader, and I'm like, 2 dogs. All right, square beep beep tap, and I'm like, tip it, if you're feeling it, no pressure. And I was like, oh, we are feeling it, and then beep beep, and then it's like, sometimes it goes away fast, and other times I can see it. And I pulled it, and I noticed it was like 3 dogs plus $50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope it
It
wasn't an
always
accident.
feels good. It always feels good.
What about you,
Yeah.
Hal? Did you ever get a Benji, Hal?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten $100 tip before a few times.
God damn.
That's always exciting when you get that.
Is that the highest you
um,
got, Hal? You got higher than that?
I think so. Probably.
God damn. I'm in the wrong
Yeah, I
industry.
mean, what's really good, like the last game of the season is always really, really good.
Yeah.
When you've been there all season long, people will tip you out real good. Playoff games are really good.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't me, but it was actually Jim used to talk about I think the first, what was it, that it was 2010, 2012 and 2014 for the Giants. So during the 2010 World Series, he was selling somebody a hot dog, and the Giants got a base hit or a double or something, or scored a run or something. And the guy goes, "Okay, well, now you can't move from this spot." And he goes, "Okay, all right, okay. Well, anyway, I'll be seeing." He goes, "No, you're not moving." And every pitch, he was just handing him a $20 bill to keep him there.
Somebody
Somebody
gave me like a rando. I mean, the $50 tip was from a friend of mine, so it was like, okay, that was nice. But the other day, I literally just sold like a couple of dogs to a guy and his wife, or it was like a guy and his wife and his kid. I don't know, couldn't have been more 2 to 4, right? And all of a sudden, the guy was like, shoved some bills down my shirt pocket, and it was $45 in cash.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
That was actually on Friday. And so we ended up going to Merchant. So I was like, well, fuck it. Who wants a PBR?
Yeah.
So I bought a PBR tall cans I bought a round of beers for Steve and my friend Steve and Cass and Roz, and was like, whatever. So it's
awesome.
like, I win, you win. I was like, oh, what? I was like, oh, 220s. Jesus fucking Christ! Like,
yeah,
you literally just shoved
back
it.
To the days in Oakland at the A's when they before COVID, when everything was cash, and at A's they not only would you leave with all your cash tips, but you'd leave they would pay us out in cash our commission at the end of every game. They did that. I think they did that at Oakland because they had like a lot more vendors there who were like undocumented or something, I think it was just like they just like nobody was paying taxes basically. No vendors ever paid taxes on their tips because it's not like restaurants, like they don't really know to come after you. But no vendors ever paid taxes on their tips.
Well,
but
Oakland, attention IRS, any IRS people, you did not hear any of this.
Sadly, with the tips on the computer, they start taking those that taxes out, which sounds like fucking bitches. Weak. But at Oakland, they would still pay you out in cash, even on the commission. And so, I mean, I just remember leaving games like in 2019, with like $500 or $600. It's just like a lot of money. So I would always go to the souvenir guys, because the souvenir guys would often get a bunch of hundreds every game, because people were like, buying a jersey for, $95 or, these other things. So they would always have tons of hundreds in their cash register, and they were handing them in. They didn't care what they had. So I'd always go to the souvenir guys and lay out all my cash and color it up to hundreds before I left.
Wow. I love all the inner workings of the backstories of the vendors, dude. I fucking love it.
But yeah, let me tell you, when you walk out of a stadium with $500 in your pocket, you're like, all right, well, let's go to the bar.
Well, talk about the Bees. Like, so did you guys see that they raised $2 million in funding from some private I guess they approached 200 investors. They got 53 people on board. But do you guys think so how the Roots had that public kind of round of investment where anybody could chip in for 100? Do you guys think that would work if the Ballers did it?
I think so.
I think it would work. I don't know what their finances are like. I think it would behoove them. I don't know if they need the money. They might need the money, right? So in that case, go for it. I think, if I was them, I would wait a year or two to do it just to get more and more interest. But, maybe it'd be good to do it now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's really hard to,
yeah.
It's really hard to know what a Pioneer League team is worth, right? I don't know if they're sold very often.
Well, they were shopping it around at a $6 million valuation. So that Business Insider put out
the Ballers.
So they put out so Business Insider put out like a slideshow deck of what the Ballers were presenting to pitching to investors, and it was like we're going at a $6 million valuation, trying to get $2 million, and eventually they're going to try to get $5 million. I guess there was $7 million in startup costs. So eventually, they want to break even just initially, you know. But they were saying
They've spent $7 million.
yeah, $7 million, yeah, is what
And they're
is,
worth,
is
and
what
now
they
they're
said.
worth $6 million.
I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, they got. I
So
mean, I
they've
don't.
only lost $1 million.
Yeah. And also, they said the roots valuation is at $80 million, which I thought was interesting. I mean, that's
I
all.
did see that. When I invested my $50 in the roots, or no, $500.
Yeah.
Don't tell my wife. Jesus, $500 in the roots. uh, um, I did see that they were like a valuation of 70 or $80 million.
Do they give you like shareholder updates? Like, hey, this is how much your investment's worth now, or no? Or is it just kind of like you'll
well,
never see that
it
money
only
again, or
it
what?
only updates. I mean, if they sell, then
Yeah.
I'll see the money again. You know, if they sell the team.
So
But
the team. No.
that's right. I want to make a bunch of money.
No. And
But yeah, man, I think the Ballers it's just a really fun atmosphere. It is really, it's put together with Scotch tape. If you want to go up and talk to the players, you'll basically be able to do it if you want.
I mean, it's such
You
an
know?
intimate environment that like Saturday the umpire was just brutal. Like it was just not going well. If you want to know where Angel Hernandez was, apparently he's found himself in the Pioneer League and the umpire at Saturday's following it. And so I was walking by and there's a right by the Ballers dugout by the reserve section, in between third base and home plate, there's a little ramp that goes by and it kind of like goes right next to the Ballers dugout. And there was like a bad ball strike call against the Ballers. And I heard the managers just go, like both JT Snow and I forget who the manager is right now.
Micah Franklin,
Both just
yeah,
bark out colorful metaphors at the thing. And it's just like, you know what happens at big league ballparks all the time. I mean, sometimes like you can see, you can read lips on these HD broadcasts, right? But it's so crazy just to hear it just like up close. It's like, whoa.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, this is part of the game. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, this isn't like, they're out of line, but it's like, you only like kind of read about this stuff, or maybe you can lip read. It's like to be like right up there, right when like just a lousy call, and all of a sudden you hear JT Snow going, "That was fucking horseshit, Blue," and you know it or something. He didn't exactly say that, but I'm like, hey, I say that when I'm in the bleachers and I've had like more than 3 tall cans of Modelo. This guy's the manager.
What I found most interesting was I was the Sunday game, Saturday game, the last day I was there, they had me MC on the field. And so I was like kind of running back and forth on the field, and between going out there, I was standing next to the High Wheelers who they were playing then, the High Wheelers dugout. And every time, like, I'd see, oh, okay, that was the third out when the High Wheelers were up. We'd like start walking out onto the field, and I'd be passing the player who just got out. And I'd be like walking out of the field, and the player who just gone out was just like, fucking motherfucking ass.
Well, especially the Pioneer League, because they really are like, they're like what, 20 to 25. Like it's a pretty young league.
Yeah.
They're young, and they're like, and they're right on that precipice of.
They're just really trying hard to get picked up by an affiliated ball.
Are they even professionals? I don't know how long, being in the Pioneer League is good for your life. So, it's incredibly cutthroat, so.
I mean, that's the way baseball is. Well, you get Will McNeil on. He talked to me a lot about how, like, Will McNeil goes around in baseball everywhere. And he was at the game
on
Wednesday.
Right field Will.
Right field Will, yeah. And he taught me a lot about like the life of the Pioneer League and the indie ball circuit and stuff. It's like a lot of it's do or die. It's kind of like a lot of these guys. It's like it's almost like there's a bit of like it's like a last chance league. Either like you bounce around the lower ball of affiliated. You have one more shot to see if you can get picked up by affiliated, or if you've been hurt or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
it is. But yeah, I mean, just hearing the amount of emotion in those players' voices.
Yeah.
I know that there's some people who are like, It's not the A's. It doesn't have the same stake as the A's. It doesn't have the same, and that's just true. But for these players, the stakes are incredibly high. So,
Yeah.
Go and enjoy it. Go and have fun. One other thing I wanted to mention, Mike, you said it's such an Oakland experience. And one of the things I got to learn about while I was there was that the people who sort of like are writing the script, for those like the games that they play between innings and stuff. There's, they're doing that. They're starting to stand up themselves. But just to get going, they've hired. There's a company that helps new minor league baseball teams start.
Yeah.
And they have, they sort of offer these packages of like, oh, we'll help write your scripts. We'll do this, we'll do that.
They have a hot dog condiment race.
Yeah.
And that obviously comes in a generic. That came in the generic kit, but whatever. It's fun. I mean,
kit. But I talked to the guy who writes their script, and he was there the first week helping them set stuff up. And he says, well, every day I write 5, depending on who's at home, about 5 different team scripts. And for the teams, in Texas, you just like add a howdy here and there, sprinkle in a howdy and a y'all here and there, and for all these other teams, you do this and this and this. He's like, the amount that they've worked with me and to make sure that this is, so authentically Oakland. He's like, it's like 2 standard deviation, like just 2 orders of magnitude, just like way out there. So, and that's Paul and Brian, and the people that they've hired. They're all really cognizant and really like, it's really important for them to serve Oakland, an authentically Oakland thing. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, they're doing it right.
They are doing it right.
It's a tough business, so get out there and buy some tickets. But they're doing it right.
They're doing it right, and I have to say, like, oh God, I mean, I honestly forgot her name again, but the stadium host that they have, this young woman, she's great, and like she also, I mean, she pulls it off without sounding like too cheesy. She pulls it off in a way that sounds authentic. Like, I mean, how many times have, like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how many times I've seen people, like, not necessarily people in town, but like kind of on TV where people pretend to be Oakland, like, we're so hyphy, and it just looks like cringe. Like, you are not hyphy at all. Yeah. And she pulls it off really well. I mean, like, she sounds authentic. I don't know her background. I know she says she's done like Cal High Sports on KSE or something like that. She looks really familiar. I've definitely seen her face she's a before, she's a clear professional, like announcer. But she pulls it off really well, and she does a really great job of getting the kids involved. And they do this as opposed to the first pitch, they've been doing this first swing, and it's fun. It's fun, and a lot of people have fun with it. Like, I've seen, like, they've had both people who've taken a pitch, gotten a pitcher. Either it's like one of the Ballers players, usually Kelsey Wilmore, or like I've seen some people just put up like on a tee. And I think one person I've seen a couple of different where it's like they do that soft toss thing where you're just off to the side and kind of throw it up.
Yeah, Casey got the soft toss. Yeah, Casey got a soft
somebody
toss.
got an actual, I forget who it was, and it's somebody who, at least in our own baseball Oakland community, is a known name. I forget who it was. They actually took a like not a fastball, but an actual live pitch, and it's fun. It's fun.
It was Jorge.
It was Jorge. I was standing.
It was Jorge. That's who it was. Yes. God damn it.
So JT Snow was throwing the pitch. So
yeah,
JT Snow goes up to Jorge. I think he says, "Thank you so much for everything you're doing for us and for the players. They love you." He goes, "So you want me to give you a real pitch?" And Jorge's like, "Yeah, give me a real pitch." He goes, "All right, well, if I were you, I would duck." And so the first pitch JT Snow throws. Now, I don't think it was a real baseball. I think it was like a slightly soft baseball, but he hurled it at Jorge's ear, and and then he gave a much softer pitch, which Jorge took care of.
I think they do use a T-ball, but yeah.
I mean, that's
It depends.
that's one
Yeah, it
thing they
depends.
mentioned in that investment deck too, is like, they mentioned Wrexham FC, they mentioned Savannah Bananas, like we want to turn this into like a make this about the fan experience, and then eventually share it to a wider audience through a media platform, like
I mean, that's actually a great
yeah.
idea. And I mentioned that even on like one of the first times I met them in God, like late last year in 2023. And I'm like, I think Georgia a little put off by that because I was like, you got to be like the Portland Pickles or Savannah Bananas or St.
Yeah,
Paul
yeah.
Saints, and everyone was like, "Oh, we can't copy those." I'm like, I don't say copy at all, but like you have to have like an independent spirit, independent vibe that's like going to be
Yeah.
outside of what the other minor leaguers do. And I think that the Pickles and the Savannah Bananas have their own independent thing going on. That's obviously the Savannah Bananas have transcended that, and now we're like play this like banana ball.
It's like, don't even play. Yeah, they play a whole different sport, dude. It's
they're like the
crazy
Harlem
with it.
Globetrotters now. Where
Yeah,
it's
they
like they're not
are,
even like
man.
real
They really
baseball.
are. It's really cool.
Which is fine. Which is fine. Like, but they before they started doing like banana ball only has been a thing only since like last year. Before they were just a regular like indie ball, or no, they were like a summer
summer college
league. So they like, I remember in like 2022 they played like banana bat ball on like off days, and then through the rest of the week they've like, okay, and now we have a 3-game series against the Gwinnett Braves, and and then we'll like and then like I'd watch them on people like, this is right when they started becoming viral for their banana ball, and I remember like putting it into a live stream one time, and I'm like, I was playing regular. Oh, this is just regular baseball time.
It's just regular baseball.
Yeah, it's fine. But like but even before that, I remember like hearing about like the wackiness that they always had at their games, and it was always really popular. So I think like leaning into, like, not to sound cheesy, but leaning into hyphy and hip hop and like DIY punk is, they can pull, like, if they can get like kind of like capture like the Green Day side of Oakland and like the Too Short side of Oakland music into one, that would be awesome. I mean, honestly, like Oakland Music Complex, which is a huge warehouse where half the bands, like 2/3 of the bands that came out of Oakland,
everybody plays.
Yeah, it's a warehouse. It's literally a block that way and 2 blocks that way. It's like really on the way there.
And that's just get a band before every game or something like that. I don't know. That'd be cool.
We could. I mean, we could do that. I mean, I know people that have rehearsal spaces there and stuff like that. And that's one of the things that, like, again, to bring the house back to the neighborhood park. I mean, like we've mentioned Bricks. You have Ghost Town. You have Matt Horn's fried chicken place. It's called Cowbird. That's like a block that way. And then like you're like 50. Like last Friday was First Friday, and
dude, the Prescott Night Market was really cool that one day.
Prescott Night Market was right there.
That was really sick. That was really sick.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes me 50 minutes to bike home, and I biked. I'm like, I get off the shift with after monitoring hell, I biked home, and I'm like, oh crap, it's First Friday. I'm like, that's right there. I'm like 3 minutes away via bicycle to First Friday. That's like insane. Yeah. Like it's like to go from like West Oakland to Merch, it's just like so tied in with a lot of. That's why I like the whole feeling that like, oh, I feel like I've been around my life. This is something I almost kind of wanted my whole life. I mean, I almost want to keep this as like a separate like, if no matter what's going to happen with Major League Baseball in Oakland, I don't know, and frankly, neither does John Fisher. But I want to keep this around. I think there's definitely models that can be used that have independent ball in the same town as Major League Ball. I think, and honestly, Major League Baseball doesn't come out, I think this is something to build on. I think that we need to get. I really want to like. I'm never going to shut up about this. I'm really going to bring everybody down there as much as I can to do what I can. I feel. I mean, not just because I'm an employee, but I feel personally invested in it. I feel like I was talking to Garth and George and stuff. I feel that like, while Paul and Brian are the actual founders, I feel that we definitely helped build this thing, and I feel that I have a strong sense of ownership to this, and I really want to make this successful. I really want this to be a valuable community asset going forward. I mean, just the energy I felt from even from some of the lower nights, like Thursday where there was like nobody there. It's probably one of our lower nights. There was still like this hyphy happy hour, and there was a crowd of like bros drinking double Modelo's on Friday, and I didn't sell much that night, and so It was towards the last sitting, and they definitely had a lot of Modelo that night. And I just plopped my hot dog my hot dog steamer, just sat down with them. I was like, "What's up, bros? I'm gonna hang out with bros, my hot dog guy, and I'm gonna hang out with y'all tonight." And they're like, "Yeah, the hot dog guy's here." And they're all being rowdy and fun. And then they're like, "Wait, a hot dog sounds really good right now. We've had like 30 beers." And then I sold like 5 of them. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not just trying to." I wasn't trying to use it.
Yeah,
Like,
they sell themselves. Dude.
I know what I want when I've had a lot of Modelo tall cans, and I know what you want when you. And also they're like, "Hell yeah, hot dog! Hey, can you just give me one with it?" And it was like, yeah, I sold them all a bunch of dogs, and that kind of and they tipped pretty nice, and that was that made it a little more fun that night. But it's also kind of fun to like to sit down with a hot dog tray and just like chat with kids. I don't have my Hal the hot dog guy card or Mike the hot dog mayor baseball cards. But what I've been bringing is like, I just have a box of old 1980s cards. And then it was Brian. Yeah, Brian gave me these like Cooperstown cards that he got, like a big collection of like old, it was like from the early 90s, some generic like Cooperstown Hall of Fame cards. He's like, "Give these out to kids," and so I just been giving out all these old timey cards, and
that's
like
awesome, dude. Yeah, I just love the old
like,
school feel to it. It's so
yeah,
cool.
like these aren't rookie cards, but there's been like a kid who's gotten like a Ricky Henderson or like I remember somebody came up with like just like oh look you got Dennis Eckersley, like, oh wow, and like somebody got a Will Clark, and well, some of these guys, it's like the kids are like, "Who's this?" And it's like, "Oh, that's a Steve Avery card." Like, yeah, your dad knows who that guy is. It's like, you just gave away that one. Yeah, I don't care.
You just got the Walt Weiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've definitely been adding my own little personalized flair to it, as much as I can. Yeah.
Like I know it's hyperbolic to say, but for me, because I've been to Wrigley and Fenway before, and it just seems different when it's intimate like that. I'm not saying Raimondi is that at all, but it's like, kind of, I can see it. I like my dream.
What you're used to is the Coliseum.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just
Raimondi Park is Fenway. It's Fenway.
Yeah. For me, Raimondi Park's like a neighborhood Wrigley.
I mean,
it's like a neighborhood Wrigley. I don't know.
Our three ballparks, right, at 4 if you want to count San Jose. Like San Jose is a nice old timey thing.
Yeah.
But it's also in the middle of kind of nowhere, even for San Jose standards. There's not a whole lot around it. So you don't really you have like an old timey ballpark, but just surrounded by kind of parking lots and San Jose State practice facility. So there's not much of like a neighborhood vibe there. The Giants Stadium is probably very neighborhoodly for a newer stadium, but it's still like the newer stadium, the luxury boxes and most of the neighborhood there is like newer condos, so it's still not quite there, although I say it's probably better than most of the newer stadiums. And then the Coliseum is surrounded by a parking lot and it's huge foul ground, which is very far, so you don't really, we love our last dive bar, but it's still not going to be an actual neighborhoodly park. And I think what this actually does, and even on a smaller scale, I mean, I've gotten into soccer because of the roots now, and because of that, like, I don't watch a lot of, I like the EPL because it's the best, quality. But what I can kind of get fascinated by is a lot of these smaller Wrexham-style neighborhood, Wrexham, Maidenhead, neighborhoodly teams that are in like smaller parts of London or just like in the middle of nowhere and stuff like that. And I feel a lot like that. I think that feels more like baseball to me, and that's what I like about this stuff. And and I just read about old timey ballparks when I was a kid, and and I'm like, oh man, this feels like Fenway Park circa 19. Yeah. This feels like Fenway in 1912. Like
they got the Ivy in left field. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, the fire department shows up and watches the games from on top of the truck. Yeah. Like man, if the Ballers make it to the Pioneer League playoffs, I mean, we really gotta make that just like a big neighborhood party. Sell out the park, and then just like I don't know, just get a whole
block
vibe.
party, just like shut down the streets.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like when the Cubs were in the playoffs in 2003.
They got to do Ballers block party.
Ballers block party. I remember the Cubs were in the playoffs in 2003, like seeing people out there on what's the street behind right field, like Waverland or something like that.
Waveland and Sheffield.
Yeah, Waveland and Sheffield.
Right field is Sheffield. Left field is Waveland.
So, but like seeing people like looking for home run balls and stuff like that, and like I was telling my friend Quintana, who's born and raised in West Oakland. Like again,
Wig.
Wiggy. 3 blocks this way, 2 blocks that way, very close, like easy walk. And she was like, "Oh, the neighborhood kids are gonna love this once this is going. They're gonna all kind of come by on their BMXs and just like proud around and like try to get all the foul balls." I mean, it's gonna be great. And that's that old school, like you don't even see that at Wrigley or Fenway anymore. Like that old school, like Ebbets Field, not whole gang kind of stuff that you saw, like the Norman Rockwell paintings. Like we're gonna have, it's gonna be great.
That's awesome.
The fire, I thought those firemen who were sitting on the fire truck, I thought that they were there because of the game. Like, there's some like law that said like, oh, if you have 1,000 people, you need the fire brigade or something. No. They're just, the firehouse is just a block away. And it's fine if they're a block away from the firehouse, because as long as they have the truck. So they're just sitting there.
Oh, so they're just killing time.
I thought, for 2 seconds, I thought that was because it's like, how we have to have a couple of cops around just for security reasons. I thought it was the same thing, just because.
That's what I thought too. It was like a temporary, it's like a
killing time, baby.
Oh, because
and they can see the game for free on the truck.
That's really
that
cool.
is that just adds to the flair. That just adds to the vibe, and I think it's only going to grow. I've literally have never talked to a single person, and I don't think that they're placating me or anything, that has not had a bad time. Like everybody's like, hey, like I've asked a lot of people, is it your first time here? I got a lot of repeat customers. A lot of people said their first time here. Well, I'm coming back. Like you can't keep me away from this place.
They're just still in this awareness. They've only had 12 games. Like I brought my dad and my brother to their first games last week, and they both loved it too. So it's like in baseball, also, you need repeat customers.
I mean, there's still a lot of skepticism in the town about it, but I mean, they definitely got the diehards. I mean, my friends were like, yeah, we're done going to Coliseum. Like they don't like us. We don't want that. Easy.
There's something to it. It kind of like makes the A's leaving like okay, actually. Like it's not, it still hurts, but it makes it a little. It makes it a little.
Yeah, easier. I mean, it's like not the same as a major league. You don't get me wrong, but as far as like just getting down to like just having fun at a ballpark.
Yeah, if you're just going
that
for
by
the
tenfold.
Game.
I mean, the A's games, honestly, since the
nice
pandemic,
to not be abused.
Yeah, I mean, since the pandemic, since the parallel pass. I mean, going to an A's game just feels like a chore these days, and this does not feel like a chore. Like I have to work there. I have to be punctual and have jobs and performance standards and all the others. Vending is fun, but it's still a job, and like doesn't feel like work. Like it's like I worked all weekend. I didn't feel like I actually worked over the weekend like I would on like a job, and it was just like I felt like I was at the ballpark and make a few bucks in beer money slinging some dogs, and it was fun.
That's awesome.
Well, I think we can't have a better ending than that. And Mike, if we don't end, I know that you'll keep talking for another 4 hours.
I would, but I definitely need to eat something. So.
No, yeah,
it's also 3 hours later here.
It's 10:15 back in DC.
I'm a little bit sleepy.
Oh, man.
Anyways, great talking to you, Mike. I'm really glad you're having fun doing it. I'm really glad that the hot dog guy trope is not going to die in Oakland. Just like
now I need to go to Al's Attire and get a custom vest.
Yeah, might set you back a few
hundred
simoleons, but
no, I'm kidding. I don't think
you need more of those $50 tips.
Yeah,
no, I'm not quite there yet. But I definitely I don't know. I asked the management, and they said they were cool with it. I'm gonna be flopping around like different old timey. I have so many Ebbets hats and so many old timey hats, and it creates a conversation. I feel that if I get a specific hot dog following on Twitter, I may like throw something up, and it was like first person who could like name what team this is and a player that played on it. I'll buy there's something I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be fun, dude. That'd be cool.
Some sort of like contest or whatever.
You should do it like every game. All right, today's like this is like the daily hat. Who's got?
Who's gonna guess this? What year and what team this
or
is?
Name a player who played for this team or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. But there's like I'll have a lot of fun and like I wear this isn't it. This is just a generic shirt and this is a vintage baseball shirt that will never be worn as a hot dog vendor.
For those of you listening to the podcast, Mike has worn his red and white striped vest the entire time and is wearing what I have to say is a fantastic Aloha shirt that has old timey baseball cartoons on it.
Yeah,
awesome.
but I have this this Sandlot shirt with hot dogs and the Hambino guy that I've been wearing. I used the white shirt, the regular white work catering shirt on the weekdays, but on weekends on the day games, I'll whip out the great Hambino shirt, and the kids get a kick out of that, and so do the grown-ups.
Hell yeah,
Especially because I'm a ginger too, and so it matches. It's fun. It's fun.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much to Mike Davie. Make sure to get a hot dog from him next time you're at Raimondi Park, and the Ballers will be back next week when they host.
Get a Mayor of Oakland dog.
That's right.
It's yellow mustard, brown mustard, relish, onions, kraut, and a little jalapenos on the top, just like a cherry on top of the cake. It's good.
Yellow and brown mustard.
Yeah.
Finally, mustard unity.
Awesome. All right. Well, take care, guys. We'll see you soon at Raimondi Park.
Absolutely.
See you guys.